Good evening, everybody. Jack here. I didn't think we were going to be able to get anything done in terms of recording this week, but this felt as good of a time while I was at least, not eating ice cream on the couch in sheer sadness as I have been the last hour about how Tech baseball season just ended. I think to put it lightly, we have seen this story before. We've been there before, and it's not lost on me, and I don't think it's lost on anybody that's listening to this, how incredibly sad and soul-sucking going through another loss like this is. I think we've seen some folks talk about it on Twitter if you're there, and probably thought about it yourselves. Just like it's so many times this year between football and baseball, there's been such high freaking highs, man. Like a lot of people had career years, made themselves some of the most endeared people on campus and in the lore of Tech sports history between these two teams, and to see both teams end in the ways that they did is just it's still heartbreaking. I can still feel it. Whatever kind of pain you can feel, and that kind of heartbreak that you can feel physically in your body, like I still have that sensation. The game ended 3 hours ago, and I'm still sitting in it. Still feel it. It's just how it is. I just to walk through the weekend a little bit here. I mean, Tech was the number 1 seed in their regional. We played UIC on Friday, put up 22 runs. It was one of the best overall games we'd seen all year. Tate McKee didn't even have to throw. We had Carson Ballard throw, and we managed to sit with the back end of our bullpen. The entire rest of that game, Alex Hernandez hit 3 homers, which was the best any Yellow Jacket has ever done in an NCAA tournament game. Nearly had a fourth by about a few feet. Saturday, we get to play Oklahoma for the first time, get some late runs, win 9-3. It looks like Tate McKee did really, really well. Like that was as solid a performance that you would have wanted to see out of him. And then after all that, man, we get to on Sunday we get to the 5th inning. Like we get to the 5th inning, the game is definitely in play. It's not out of hand. The 4th inning. We're up 8-2 after the top of the 4th inning, which we're the road team, which just to be, in case anyone didn't know about the rules with the NCAA home and road team in the tournament, even though this was our building, basically they try to do their best to make sure everyone involved gets an equal amount of home and road games over a tournament, even though there is an actual host who is playing. And so it just worked out where we were the home team the first 2 times, and Oklahoma did not get to be home team as many times as we did, and so they managed to get the home game both times against us. But in the regional final, we're up 8-2. We've done the work. We've seen the bats are doing their thing, and they just went completely cold, completely all the way cold. And the problem is in that situation, when you're in a regional final, you have to still prepare for the possibility of not getting out of that game, even though we're only down 2. Here's the thing. We were only down 2. If you told me at any other point in the season, we're only down 2 with most of the games still to go, I would tell you we'd win that game just because the bats are that good. They average a run an inning. Like, if they average a run an inning and it's the 4th inning, you think we're going to score at least 5 more runs in some form or fashion. And as much as you can't really play in the season-long odds over the course of just one game, they've shown it all tournament long up to this point, and they showed in the ACC tournament as well. So, like, there was no reason to not believe they weren't going to do it. But, damn, it still happened. It still happened. We had to save Mason Patel on Saturday because we were losing, and then by the time we got to the back end of our bullpen with Caden Campbell and Adam McKelvey, like, that was just kind of it. Like, that game was toast. But I think what's really damning here is in the 8th and 9th innings in both these games with Oklahoma, we only had 3 base runners, 2 or 3 base runners. The teams that win championships are the ones that can score late, and we simply did not do that. You don't deserve to win a championship if you cannot play clutch baseball. Every single championship team has to win clutch baseball games. You can't just go out there and destroy teams going away like we did against UIC. We're going to play better teams, and we did. We played Oklahoma. Are they the best team? No. Do we beat better teams this year? Hell yeah, we did. I mean, hell, we beat North Carolina, we beat Georgia, we beat Florida State. Like, we did the work. We showed we were the best team in the country for most of the year. And technically, we were the number one team remaining in the country after UCLA got eliminated on Sunday. For about 24 hours, Georgia Tech was the number one team remaining in the NCAA tournament. We were, by default, the number one team in the country at that point. And that is kind of when everything completely collapsed. And then today's game on Monday, same freaking thing. Early lead. We knew it was going to be a Mason Patel game. He pitched a career high 104 pitches. Dude had one of the most impressive outings. Like, this is Zach Maxwell level stuff here in terms of just having to give everything he's got to give this team a shot to win. And he did every bit of that. This is 100% on James Ramsey for not pulling him when he should have pulled him. When he pulled him too late. He pulled him way too freaking late. They were already getting to him. They had seen him twice around. Like, the stats don't work in your favor in this scenario when you're a pitcher going through the lineup a third time. And not everything's clicking as hard. He's not overpowering them with fastballs. He can't beat them with velocity, which is what we got beat with. Oklahoma had enough guys that could power pitch and had a bullpen that kept us off our toes. There were not a lot of off-speed pitches or slower fastballs we could take advantage of in the latter halves of these games. I will credit Oklahoma for doing a really good job at that. But by the time Mason Patel was on his last legs, that was just kind of it. Like, he didn't have enough. And we go to Dylan Loy in the bottom of the eighth after Oklahoma's already scored a run to make it 7-6. They had scored two runs between the seventh and eighth inning to make it 7-5. And he gets this wild-ass double play. Gets so freaking lucky. A line out to Carson Kirsten, the runner at second base, was way too far off the bag, and we get a gift. We get a gift of a double play with multiple runners on base, with a chance for Oklahoma to take the lead. But then again, as I mentioned, bats cold as hell. Burris grounds to short. Advincula grounds to shortstop. Lackey pop-ups to the second baseman. Next inning, Tate freaking McKee's in to pitch. I don't know about this, guys. I just don't know. I get that it's like he's been one of our best pitchers all year, but here's the thing. We saw this all year. First inning problems. Like, first couple innings for any of our starting pitchers were never perfect. They frequently allowed runs all year long. That was one crazy things about this season that just stayed consistent. We were going to allow runs early. Wasn't going to be a lot. We were going to score we averaged 12 runs a game. So, it was fine. It all worked out in the end, of course. But this was a normal thing. And Tate McKee had not pitched in relief in 2 years. He did it against Georgia back when we played them in the regional at Foley Field a couple years ago. And Dylan was fine. Dylan was the guy that hadn't really seen much at all. So I'm just not. And we had other arms ready to go. Dimitri Angelakos was in the bullpen. Is he our ideal arm in that case? No, but he's an arm they hadn't seen yet. It was at least a new thing to throw at him. And Tate, he started with a leadoff walk and just couldn't stop the big and pop singles. And then we get to the bottom of the 10th inning and they hit the solo homer, and the season ends. The guys on the field just didn't really move. After that, I didn't really move my press seat at all. Yeah, no, I mean, we were all still shell. I mean, I'm still shell shocked. At this point, in the grand scheme of things, the only other time I felt like this in a Georgia Tech context was when I was at Sanford Stadium for the 8 overtime game. That's the only thing that even holds a candle. These are both very different circumstances, though. The pain that I think we all collectively felt, and I know the team felt, you could just see how they react, how they just melted to the ground when the ball left the yard. Was that they knew there was so much they were still ready to play for, and it just got taken away in a second. They had so much of a future left with this team. There was 2 weeks of baseball left for this team, and it was going to be two of the most important weeks of baseball ever. Even if we just made it to the Super Regionals, we know that would have been a huge monkey off the shoulder, because this is what we've been struggling with for 20 years. 20 freaking years. Now, was this the best team in the last 20 years? Yes, I think that's objectively true. And that's statistically true as well. But playoff baseball's different, man. You've got to be ready for very, very high leverage moments in a one game situation, not building a team that works over the length of a series. You got to be able to throw an incredibly good weapon at the right specific time that can be enough to win you a ball game. Now I say that, and I say that in a way like because we lost. Mason Patel was that weapon, and the fact he threw from the second to the eighth inning is proof that we had enough ammo to do it. We absolutely had enough ammo to do it. We had enough hitting ammo to do it, and I think you can say the pitching wasn't great. The pitching has been getting better at such a remarkable level over the last 3 years that Matt Taylor's done a hell of a job. James Ramsey has done a hell of a job to put these guys in situations where they can succeed, give guys enough innings over the course of the season to be confident. And generally, we had a deeper bullpen arm. I think we had a deeper bullpen overall than Oklahoma did. Problem is in a one-game situation, you just need stuff that's going to overpower people. And we didn't have that, and Oklahoma did. If you look at modern bullpens in the Major League Baseball, it's a lot of the same thing. It's guys that throw 98, they throw 99. They do not give you a second to settle down. That's why Aroldis Chapman and guys like him have stayed in baseball for so long. They throw hard, and their arms still work. And, in college, it's a little different. It's hard to be in college. It's definitely a lot harder to be accurate and consistent, have good command, and throw that hard. Never mind just even throwing that hard. But we just didn't have that. We didn't have it ready. So it's a really hard pill to swallow. We will probably get our next Scions up in next week. I think the only thing I want to mention is that we got a track and field athlete going to Eugene, Oregon, and qualified, which is really, really cool to see. So technically the 2025-2026 season is not done yet. It is Billy Carlton who is going to compete in the 3,000 meter steeplechase out in Eugene at the NCAA Track and Field Championships, which is the last major championship of the season for college athletics. So, what does the future hold? I don't know. I would suggest we just not think about this for a long time. That's just where my head's at. I'm going to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to focus on that, and I think we all just process this as we need to process it. The monkey's not off our shoulder. That's for damn sure. Whatever version of this team we get next year, which is not going to have a lot of these players that made the team what it was, there is no Von Lackey to speak of next year. There's no Tate McKee. There's no Drew Burress to speak of. Like that. The core of this team was built for this year and this year only. And that was it. That's just how it happened. And baseball is such a rough sport. I mean, any that are Braves fans felt this, I'm sure, as well, with all those 90s seasons where things just should have gone a whole lot better and never did. And so, Atlanta baseball, man, it's crazy. I'm going to leave y'all with this one thing here. So there's a guy named Mark Buffington who has been helping, who is part of this group that's been helping invest more into the baseball team. There was announced that there was a $5 million fundraising effort happening to get more resources into the baseball team. And let me tell y'all, Georgia Tech baseball, even though we have this monkey on our shoulder, even though we just cannot get out of ourselves, I mean, it's not the New York Mets in terms of like we suck at baseball and it's embarrassing. It's the guys that the team that can never actually do the job, which we know that I don't need to keep repeating that. But all that to say, even with that history, this is still regarded as one of the best programs in the country, if not the best. And so I'm going to read this thing that he read today that Ryan Alpert retweeted, and other folks have retweeted, that gives insight into what the thoughts are in terms of how to carry this team forward. Because yes, we may not have this good of a regular season again, but we certainly can get the talent level again. So this is what he wanted to say. This is what he said. It's on Twitter. You can find it there. Tomorrow, so June 2nd, a large group of former GT baseball players and supporters of the program are launching a series of initiatives to get behind James Ramsey and Tech baseball in a way that builds a lasting competitive advantage. Not a mild competitive advantage, but one that is almost impossible for other schools to match. It starts with having funds and strategies that will ensure Tech baseball competes at the highest level year in and year out. It culminates with 34 funded scholarships, over-the-cap funds for special projects in elite roster construction, and investments in advanced hitting and pitching technology. It also involves connecting our tremendous network of business executives to former and current baseball players in a way that no other school can. We have never really leveraged this network to drive athletic success, but we will going forward. Jack is here as an aside. Hell freaking yeah. Okay, back to the quote. We should have learned some lessons from this regional series. Although our lineup was superior, Oklahoma had at least 8 pitchers that threw 95 or above, and each of them had good command of 1 or 2 off-speed pitches. At the end of the day, pitching wins the tournament. Jack back. Yes, that is how it works. Back to the quote. We're going to come together and give James and Ryan Alpert all the tools they need to consistently compete for national championships. It's easy to get mad and swear off GT Athletics after another heartbreaking loss, but that is what losers do. Winners dust themselves off and get back to work the next day, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to stop reading it there because I think that's the right note to leave off on. This sucks. It's okay to live in it for as long as you need, but eventually we're gonna get back and do this all again in 2027. We're gonna have a new slate of guys. We're gonna have a new starting catcher in Drew Rogers, and we're gonna have some new pitching. We're gonna have a lot of things, but take heart in that this team did what no other teams were able to do in the history of college baseball and at the history of Georgia Tech baseball. And we've been playing baseball at Georgia Tech since the 1890s. So it's what we saw was certainly historic between the wins and the everlasting, horrifying collapse. That was that. So we'll see y'all next week on the podcast, and then we'll start getting football season preview stuff up on our website from therumbleseat.com pretty soon. You can find us there. You can email us there. I know there's been a lively discussion going on with dealing with this loss, but we'll be back. Go Jackets.